In a powerful moment at the foot of Niger's presidential palace, two leaders came face to face, a handshake that symbolized more than diplomacy. President Jean Abdraman Chani of Niger stood with his guest, Chad's President Marshal Mahamat Idriss Déby, who had just arrived for a two-day working and friendship visit. But this was no routine state meeting. This visit was deeply symbolic, rooted in shared history, mutual struggle, and a vision for a new African future shaped by sovereignty, unity, and brotherhood. Their one-on-one meeting went on for some time, far from the press, far from the cameras, a private conversation between two leaders who understand the weight of the moment. The security situation in the Sahel region took center stage in their discussion. So did the broader cooperation between Chad and Niger. What followed was an expanded working session involving both countries' delegations, pushing forward on a range of strategic fronts. For those who don't know, the relationship between Chad and Niger goes far beyond geography. These are not simply two countries that happen to share a border. Their connection is organic. Two peoples tied by blood, history, and the invisible bonds of culture and common struggle. The border they share is not a divider. It's a bridge through which languages, trade, hope, and resilience flow. This visit sought to deepen an already rich relationship, one that has matured over decades. Since their independence, Chad and Niger have built a relationship based on deep respect, trust, and a shared desire to preserve sovereignty. They've managed to maintain stability in their bilateral dealings, which is no small feat in a region so often destabilized by external pressure, insecurity, and economic hardship. They've backed up this relationship with binding agreements, starting with the Cooperation Accord signed on November 9, 1976, which laid foundation for ongoing collaboration. That cooperation was enhanced by the creation of a joint commission in 2013, hosted in Niamey, which helped widen their partnership in critical areas like trade, security, environmental policy, and free movement of people. The scrapping of visa requirements between Chad and Niger stands as a bold sign of trust and regional vision. This bilateral spirit is reflected not just in official treaties, but also in how both nations operate in regional and continental frameworks. Whether it's through the African Union, the Niger Basin Authority, or the Lake Chad Basin Commission, Chad and Niger have consistently presented a united front, pushing for an Africa that is more resilient, more independent, and more interconnected. As President Déby made clear during his visit, Chad stands firmly beside Niger, especially in these turbulent times. He acknowledged the difficult path Niger is walking today, politically, economically, and socially. But he praised the people of Niger for meeting these challenges with determination and dignity. This was not a mere visit to show face. This was a deliberate, conscious gesture of solidarity between two nations facing a common storm. President Déby underscored that sovereignty isn't a slogan. It's a serious mission. It's something that must be built, defended, and lived out by the people. Real sovereignty starts when leaders understand that their only accountability is to their own people, not foreign powers, not outside influence. He praised the Nigerian people for their political maturity, for the way they've handled their circumstances with calm and strength. In the face of economic and political uncertainties, Niger has remained steadfast. For Chad, this isn't just admirable, it's personal. It's what true brotherhood looks like. The president also placed this bilateral cooperation within a broader context, the shifting global landscape. Old powers are losing their grip. New alliances are emerging. And Africa can no longer afford to be a passive observer. It must be a central actor in solving global problems, from climate change to security, from economic growth to social development. But to do that, regional solidarity is key. This is where the relationship between Chad and Niger becomes vital. Their partnership is not optional, it is strategic. They share the same threats: terrorism that refuses to die, cross-border criminal networks, an increasingly unstable climate, and vast numbers of young people without enough opportunity. These aren't issues that can be tackled in isolation. They require a united front. This visit, therefore, isn't just about diplomacy. It's about action. It's about developing shared policies, joint strategies, and new frameworks to protect their people and build a stronger region. The leaders discussed youth empowerment, economic development, and more robust security coordination. These conversations weren't just theoretical. They resulted in concrete proposals and decisions, showing the world that Niger and Chad are serious about transforming their cooperation into real, lasting change. Let me take a moment to thank all our subscribers and channel members. Your support allows us to bring you these detailed reports from across Africa. If you're finding this video informative, please hit the like button so YouTube recommends it to more people. Let's spread these stories of African unity far and wide. Back to the visit. It's important to remember how far this relationship has come. The joint commission between Chad and Niger has been dormant for years. Since 2013, it hasn't convened. But this visit marks a turning point. Both leaders committed to reviving the commission, to breathe life back into this crucial mechanism for bilateral coordination. President Chani of Niger even spoke of new proposals that would further expand their cooperation, such as opening a new consulate to deepen diplomatic presence. That move, if it comes to pass, would build on the existing diplomatic infrastructure, Chad having maintained its embassy in Niger since 1991 and Niger establishing its own in Chad in 2013. A new consulate would not only be a gesture of trust, but a strategic decision to facilitate trade, movement, and people-to-people ties. The two leaders didn't stop there. They discussed everything from regional security to health policy, energy cooperation to economic development. They covered the hard issues, like how to counter terrorism across their shared border, and the long-term ones, such as ensuring sustainable development through fair trade and energy independence. They didn't just float ideas, they made decisions. Both governments left this meeting with clear action points. And according to President Chani, Niger is fully committed to implementing those decisions. The people of Niger are ready, and with Chad's support, the road ahead looks a little brighter. One of the most striking aspects of this visit was how clearly both leaders view this relationship as one rooted in people, not just institutions. It's about communities that span borders, families split by colonial lines, but united by culture and history. The solidarity between Niger and Chad isn't abstract. It's deeply personal, forged by shared struggle and maintained through genuine mutual respect. Before his departure, President Déby is expected to meet with the Chadian community in Niger. This is yet another signal that this visit goes beyond formality. It's a return to the roots, a reminder of shared destiny and collective responsibility. His presence is not just symbolic, it is active solidarity in motion. As this visit concludes, what remains is a strong sense of momentum, a sense that something bigger is being rebuilt. After years of inactivity, the partnership between Chad and Niger is finding new energy, new focus, and new goals. And if this visit is anything to go by, both nations are determined to walk this path together, hand in hand, step by step. As we reflect on this historic visit, one thing is clear. The future of Africa will not be decided in foreign capitals. It will be shaped in places like Niamey and N'Djamena, by leaders who choose cooperation over division, and by people who see beyond borders toward shared futures. Let us not forget that while policies matter, while treaties have weight, it is the people who carry the burden of transformation. And in the case of Chad and Niger, these are people who have stood side by side, in war, in peace, and now in the great task of rebuilding and reimagining a sovereign Africa. We leave you with a message of unity, strength, and hope. If you believe in African solidarity, in the power of sovereign partnerships, then help us share this story. Like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Voice of Africa. Together, let's amplify the voices that matter.